1919 was an auspicious year in history. The First World War ended, ushering a drastic change in the world order. The Philippine Islands had been a U.S. territory for 2 decades and was promised independence under the Jones Law of 1916. Progressive reformers saw the country and its people as a major target for modernization, and education was its main weapon. 7 forward-looking Filipinas came together in 1919 to create a school where young women could gain the knowledge and skills that would make them modern women. Paz Marquez Benitez was the first president of the Philippine Women's College. Jose Abad Santos was the first chairman of the Board of Trustees. Francisca Tirona Benitez was the second president, and with her husband Dean Conrado, guided the school from a house on A. Flores Street to its iconic Taft Avenue campus. In 1932, the college became a university, making PWU the first university for women in Asia founded by Asians. It provided a space where innovations in education flourished, and young people were encouraged to be the best that they could be. For over 100 years, the Philippine Women's University has been known as a leader in quality education. In 1934, PWU moved into its main campus on Taft Avenue, and since the 1970s has been co-educational. Located in the heart of Metro Manila, it is easily accessible by public transport and surrounded by affordable housing. Today's PWU offers undergraduate and graduate courses in several fields of study. Its business and management programs are responsive to the needs of industry, using evolving technology for global competence. PWU graduates excel in arts and sciences, education, social work, and diplomacy. Its fine arts and music programs have produced outstanding graduates through a holistic education that treasures heritage as well as excellence. PWU has pioneered in fields such as food science, nutrition and dietetics, medical technology, pharmacy, and nursing. PWU continues to play an essential role in producing graduates who possess the skills that make them competitive in the country and anywhere in the world.
A united community.
We may not be blood related,
but we Patriots are one big family.
Being part of the PWU community strengthens us.
Through the years, we support each other through good times and bad times.
We Patriots always have each other's back.
It's a big honor to be part of a community that is open to the ideas of each other.
Drives us us to excel and be the best version of ourselves.
That's the standard of excellence that we Patriots strive for.
I'm thankful that this community lets us be who we want to be.
We thrive because we accept each other for who we are.
And like a family, we treat each other equally.
Actually, PWU gave us a home and helped us to be a patriot in society.
We may have different individual drums and instruments,
but we march to the same beat together as one united community.
Do you want to march with our community of patriots?
I am a patriot.
I am a patriot.
I am a patriot.
Our guidance head, and our PWU peer Vice President and co-MC Cyril, I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you. Most of us may find it hard to live and spend within a budget, especially now that everything is becoming increasingly expensive, from basic commodities, leisure, services, among others. We believe that it is not yet too late to learn how to save, budget, plan, and become more accountable to our own finances, and this is why we organized this webinar for all of you.
Today's transformative learning system, entitled Financial Literacy Guide to Personal Finances, is led by the Guidance, Counseling, and Testing Office in coordination with Campus Life, PWU Peers, ICT, and Multimedia Center. The Target Transformative Learning System core values today focuses on self-development and growth. I also humbly remind our dear students, please make sure to answer our evaluation forms later. Please click the Google Forms link. You may use the QR code provided at the end of the webinar. A few reminders for our program. All questions will be entertained in the question and answer portion of our program. You may type your questions at the chat box when the Q&A starts.
To formally begin our program, please join us with our video prayer and followed by the national anthem.
puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyat ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiid, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw, may dilag kang tulat, awis at paglayang minamahal, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiligdig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig, lupa ng araw ng walpatit magsitabay langit sa piling mo, aming ligaya dapat may mga abi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
To officially welcome us to our program, it is an honor and privilege to have our Guidance, Counseling, and Testing Office Head, Ms. Cristina Gracia Miron, to open our program with meaningful remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Patricia, and a pleasant morning to all of you. Some of you might have noticed that this is the first time for the GCPO to organize a webinar that's not related to mental health, academics, or even interpersonal or social skills, just like what we always do. Well, it is because based on the expressed needs of our students, this is one topic that they are very much interested in. If you come to think of it, there are also concerns about money that may cause us stress, and it will affect our daily lives, right? And for sure, at one point, if not for a lot of times, we experience stress as we try to manage our finances. So whether you are trying to budget and work around a hard-earned money or income, or allowances given by your parents, I think it's really important that we become more conscious and aware of our spending patterns. Do we spend beyond or within our means? Do we still have some to save for the future? Have we tried ways and means to earn or invest? I believe that these are just parts that we may be covered in this webinar, but I'm sure that there's still a lot to learn in this. So stay with us this morning as we listen to our dear resource speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Tin, for the meaningful and wonderful remarks. To introduce our resource speaker for today's webinar, may we call on our Senior Guidance Facilitator, Ms. Maricel Chosas.
Hi, good morning to all of us here, and a pleasant evening also to our guest speaker who is in Miami. How are you there? Okay, this has been a long time invitation back when she was in Manila, a pre-pandemic invitation. However, this kind of topic usually handled by other unit in the academy. Nonetheless, as what Ms. Tin said in his opening remarks, it was also highly expressed by our students and their needs assessment. So I am here to introduce to you our young and dynamic guest speaker, Jacqueline. Jackie is a CPA in the Philippines and is a candidate for CPA exam in the US. She is currently working as experienced senior audit associate in the fifth largest accounting firm in the world in Miami. Prior to moving to USA, Jackie has worked with a Big Four firm in the Philippines and in Poland. She also worked as an assistant accounting manager with the Philippines' largest health care provider. Jackie, with her 7-year experience in the public practice and 2 years experience in private practice, has vast knowledge in different industries including healthcare, retail distribution, software development. She has also led Philippine public company, multinations, and group engagements. She completed her degree in accounting from the University of the East with magna cum laude distinction. Once again, everyone, let us all welcome Ms. Jacqueline V. Selva. Good morning, Jacqueline.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
I will be just sharing my screen. Okay. Hello and good morning, everyone, dear school administrators and students. Thank you for having me to give you today's presentation. I hope that you will find this presentation about financial literacy, a guide to personal finances, meaningful. Let's get started. So, let me share that again. Okay. So, as we go on, let's think about, have you watched the movie A Second Chance? I'm not sure if the students of today have seen that. It was shown in 2015 and it was starred by Bea Alonzo and John Lloyd Cruz. If you have watched it, I want you to recall what is the main theme of the story. Like, what is one of the issues that they were having? Okay, so one of the issues that they had there was they had issues regarding money. At one point, John Lloyd can't handle their finances properly, and Bea didn't know about it. So what happened was they had a quarrel. Had they known how to manage their finances properly, they wouldn't have gone into that fight. So I believe that today's topic for this webinar is an essential part of our daily lives. And let's give a moment to thank our dear school administrators for organizing this event for you, for hearing out what you have expressed in your surveys, in the surveys that they have conducted. So you can send your comments on the screen on Facebook and let them know that you are thankful for what they made for you. Yeah, let's give you 2 minutes or 1 minute. Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing. So the topic of today's webinar, or the objectives of today's webinars are: number 1, to create awareness on the basic skills required to become financially literate, and to create awareness and educate college students like you on the services available. And our topics are: number 1, budgeting like a pro, other sources of finances, and basic knowledge about debts. We have a packed morning, so let's go. Let's get this started. What are your hashtag goals? They say start with an end in mind. If you can notice, at the beginning of my presentation, I have set forth our objectives as what Miss Cristina Meron mentioned, right? As well. So what are your hashtag goals? Millennials and Gen Zs often say this, hashtag goals. You often see this on social media. Since our goal here is the financial literacy, I will focus more on the financial aspects. Goals can be long-term, mid-term, and short-term. At every stage in life, we have different goals, things that we want to achieve. These goals can either be long-term, mid-term, or short-term. It's defined on the screen how long it can be. In one or another interview that you will have in the future while you're applying for a job, you would be asked, how do you see yourself 10 to 5 years from now? May plano ka ba sa buhay? Let's play a quick game and I need your participation. I know that some will be watching this later, so I will consider comments until tomorrow morning. I will be showing you pictures of common goals and I need you to type where the pictures fall into. Like what category will it fall into? Long-term, mid-term, and short-term. After these slides, I will be asking you what are your hashtag goals, one for each, long-term, mid-term, and short-term. Then I will select 3 random students and I will give 500 pesos each. I will send it via GCash, so I'll PM you. Is that okay? Let's begin. Number 1. By the way, there is no right or wrong answer because your goal is your goal and you set the time frame for your goal. Graduation. Is it short-term, mid-term, or long-term? Papasa ka ba within 6 months? This sem ka na ba gagraduate? Baka after 2 years pa. Diba? I'm not jinxing, I don't want to jinx anything, but is it a short-term, long-term, or mid-term goal? Number 2, your dream, hashtag dream vacation. Your dream vacation to El Nido, to Boracay, to Japan. Okay. Short-term, mid-term, long-term. Next. Next is your dream house. You know that in the Philippines, I know somebody who recently started building their house, and it's 100 square meter house, 3-story, and it costs about 5 million pesos. So is it short term, long term, or mid term? Also, as our culture, we would like after we graduate, more often than not, our option is to renovate our existing house, our parents' house, renovate our room. Just a background here in the US, students go out or move out of their school during or after college to rent out their own place and eventually have a house of their own. So sa atin, ang gusto natin is sometimes we plan to renovate our house. Sometimes we plan to have our own home. But I would just like to ask, is the house your short-term, your mid-term, or your long-term goal? Next is, oops, it's not moving, but the next will be your dream wedding. I have researched again, and it says in the internet, depending on the details of the wedding that you plan to have, the wedding that you would like to have, it ranges about from 50 to 300,000 for a simple wedding. But for a more grand, more detailed wedding, it could be from 500,000 to $1 million. Depende. If you're a celebrity, baka 2 million pesos, diba? So, nag-isip-isip ba kung magpapakasal pa? Ang mas nakaka-intrigang tanong, may love life ka ba? Diba? For our the next one is, okay. The next one would be medical needs. So for your medical needs, it's not something that we always consider because there is no pressing need to attend to the medical needs. But it's one thing that we should think about. I have made a research again. Di ba? Sipag kong mag-research. And it says that in the DOH website, it says that the leading causes of death in the Philippines are number 1, heart diseases, number 2, cardiovascular diseases, number 3, among others, tuberculosis, cancer, and accidents. When you think about it, having these illnesses treated is not cheap. It costs a lot of money. And are you prepared, or do you have it listed as one of your goals? it says in one of the insurance website that the cost to have a heart disease treated in the Philippines is about 900,000 to a million. And for cancer, breast cancer in particular, it's about 500,000, di ba? Hindi biro ang magkasakit sa Pilipinas. And if we are not ready and we didn't have this set in our goals, how are we gonna survive if this happens to us? I hope not, but it's better prepared when this happens. And last but not the least, retirement. I know as college students, it's not yet one of your goals, or you may have not yet thought about it. Kasi diba, excited pa kayo, gagraduate pa lang kayo, papasok pa lang kayo sa corporate world. So, retirement agad, Jackie. But it's one seed that I would like to plant in your hearts, in your minds, that I hope someday it will grow, that you will consider retirement. How long do you want to work? Will you be working until you're 65 years old? Ganun ba ang goals natin? Are you working until you're 65 years old? How much would you want to spend each month after you retire? In the Philippines, it is our culture to give back to our family or to our parents, isn't it? But isn't it nice for us to start the culture of not obliging our children to give back, but like letting them give back to the parents because they want it, because it's coming from their heart and not that they're pressured. Because napaghandaan mo yung retirement mo. Hindi mo ginawang retirement fund yung anak mo sa future. So I know many of us can relate to this situation, and I hope that it is one of the things that we will be prepared. Okay? So those are the things. And now ang tanong, what are your goals? What are your top 3 goals? Yun yung aking question, yun yung babalikan ko. Top 3, 1 long-term, 1 short-term, 1 mid-term goal. Okay? Okay, let's move on. And again, as I have said, at every stage in life, we have our goals. As students, as professionals, as adults, elderly, magkakaiba tayo. Short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. It is important for you to have these goals so that you know which direction you are headed and what courses of action you will take. Your goals will serve as your guide. Long-term goals are broken down into mid-term goals and short-term goals. In other words, your short-term goals should eventually add up to your mid-term goals and your long-term goals. These goals will also serve as your measurement of how far you've come. Dati iniisip mo kung paano ka magka-college. Ngayon, graduating student ka na. Dati kakain ka lang sa labas kapag may birthday. Ngayon, nagkayayaan lang mag-samgyup, go ka na, diba? These short-term goals are your baby step that will help you build habits and discipline that will bring you to your long-term goals. Sabi nga nila, malayo pa, pero malayo na. Para kapag nag-11-11 sa Shopee, hindi ka agad matatempt mag-add to cart and check out ng mga bagay na hindi mo kailangan. Diba? Nagkayaan mag-Starbucks or mag-milk tea. Let's go na ba agad? But I have to pause. Jackie, does this mean hindi ako pwede mag-YOLO? Does this mean hindi ko deserve ang hashtag deserve ko to? Whenever you are tempted or you feel this way, be reminded that you have your hashtag goals. You deserve to reach your hashtag goals. And again, let me know what are your top 3 goals in life and label them as your short-term, mid-term, and long-term. So I'd like to create an awareness about a concept called budgeting. I am not inventing something here. I am just sharing with you something that is already existing. It says here, budget is an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified period of time that is reevaluated on a periodic basis. It sounds so corporate, doesn't it? It's because even large corporations, particularly like really large corporations, have an annual budget. Like they have a committee to create an annual budget, and they analyze it monthly to see if they are on track, to see what went wrong. So how do they do budgeting? They start with their target sales, what are the marketing strategy, how much cost will they need to incur, so forth, and so they will have their net income. So for us, we'll put it on an individual perspective. But before that, why should we budget? Number one, our resources are limited. Sabi nga sa economics, scarce resources, di ba? Hindi tayo Sobel de Ayala. So, we just have but limited resources. Therefore, we need to build the habit of tracking down how we are using our limited resources. Emphasize natin, we need to build the habit of tracking down how we are using our limited resources para hindi tayo nagugulat at the end of the month. Saan napunta yung sweldo ko, di ba? And last, I just added this. Not all of us are like Alice Eduardo. Do you know her? Diba? Yung kapatid ni Small Laude, sabi niya, I am but a simple girl with extraordinary opportunities. Most of us only have ordinary opportunities. Some of us don't even have opportunities. Some of us started at negative, right? But because we can practice discipline and good habits in budgeting, then we will have things that we need in order to succeed. What are the benefits of budgeting? It helps your money lasts longer. It helps you avoid debt. How? You know that your expenses for a certain month is this much. So when you see something, you won't necessarily spend because you know that you don't have available income. It helps you jumpstart your future financial success, and it helps you create a peace of mind. Hindi mo iisipin kung bukas may kakainin ka pa kasi nasa budget mo. Alam mo bukas mayroon ka pang magagastos. May bubunutin pa bukas kasi naka-budget na. Systematically allocated. Characteristics of a budget. Number one, it is realistic and attainable. Anong ibig sabihin ng realistic? Magsa-start tayo mamaya sa income. Okay? So, for example, merong pop-up store sa labas ng PWU. May nagtitinda ng hotdog yung sa labas. Hotdog and french fries. Will they be budgeting 500,000 in revenue kung ang source lang nila ng customers ay students from PWU? 500,000 per month. Do you think that is realistic? Food traffic wise says it's not. 'Di ba? Hindi ganoon karami. Lalo na ngayon na hindi naman 100% nagpupunta lahat sa school. Especially kung isa lang yung nagtitinda, ilan ba yung mabebenta niya na hotdogs and french fries within 1 day times 20 days? It won't add up to 500,000. Same is true sa individuals. For example, I am an entry-level employee applying for a position. I won't dare ask for the salary of the CEO of the company. That's not realistic. That's not attainable. Therefore, I cannot spend a lot of things as well. Project to spend 500,000 every month. I hope that's true even here in the US, diba? Next is it requires action and commitment. Kapag sinabi ko ito yung budget ko, ito yung budget ko. Of course, there are emergency instances that will happen. But as much as possible, I should be committed to my budget. And it requires action. Sabi ko, magkakaroon ako ng salary na ganito, therefore, kailangan ko magtrabaho. Hindi ko pwede tamad. Diba? Kailangan ko pumasok sa work. Next is that it has a time frame. For corporation, it's at least annual and quarterly. For us, gano yung budgeting mo is it can be monthly, annually, so on and so forth. So let's get more nitty and gritty. Number 1, income. So we're starting with income. Salary for your sources, salary for employees, and sales for businessmen. These are your ways to generate income. Based on research, I looked at Indeed.com, and the average entry-level salary for fresh graduates in metropolitan areas. This could be lower because this is average across all courses. It's about 18 to 19,000. When choosing your first job, you would want to balance which will give you the best pay at your level and the best training. This is not very financial, but I would like to share to you some employment benefits that you would want to check when you're applying for a job. Number 1, you would want to consider the other benefits that the company will be giving you. SSS, Pag-ibig, and PhilHealth are mandatory benefits, including 13-month pay. Added benefits like HMO. What is HMO, Jackie? So HMO is a healthcare benefit given by the company. It comes in a form of card, so which you will present when you want to be checked. You go to the hospital or the provider doctor that is within the network of the HMO provider, and then have you checked for free. How does it happen? Your employer pays the HMO provider for you to have those benefits, diba? Hindi mo na kailangan isipin yung medical needs. I was hospitalized before, and it could have cost me about 20,000, but I didn't pay for anything because it was covered. Next is leave. Diba? Ilan yung leave credits mo every month or every year, sorry. Para hindi mo kailangan dalhin yung laptop mo pag nagbabakasyon ka sa beach. And if you see yourself in that company forever or for a long term, you would want to check on their retirement benefits and service award benefits, which comes in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. You would want to check if the retirement benefits that they're giving is just minimum, which is 1/2 for every year of service, or do they offer like more, 75% or 100%? Next is you would also want to check the annual average increase. All of this you can find in your job offer, or you can ask the person interviewing you. Huwag tayo mahiyang magtanong. Pero wag din naman tayo maging arrogant sa pagtatanong. Pwede nating sabihin that, aside from the basic salary, what are the benefits that I will expect if I am hired in this position? Does the company have a performance review and annual appraisal program? What is the average salary increase rate? Will the annual salary increase rate be at least commensurate to inflation? Kasi paano kapag tumaas ang presyo ng mga bilihin sa Pilipinas, makakasunod ba yung sweldo nyo? Some companies pay higher in the beginning but have poor career progression. So forever nang napako sa same position. It is good to invest in learning at the beginning. I hate to break it to you, pero marami ka pang pag-aaralan sa corporate world. And you would want to do that while you are young, energetic, and while you still have time in this world. You have fewer priorities, wala ka pang family. When I moved here, I realized that I needed to take the CPA exam again. I am a CPA there in the Philippines, but I am not here, so I have to take 4 exams within a period of 18 months. So, buti na lang bata pa ako, diba? As we mentioned. So, those are the things that I would like to quickly touch on the employment benefits that you need to check. Next are expenses. So let's go to the expenses. Okay. You would have food, rent, fare, transportation allowance, clothing, Maynilad, Meralco, what else? Groceries, snacks, technology that you would like, the latest gadgets, the latest vacation, Samgyup, Starbucks, whatever expenses. Di ba ang gulo ng presentation natin? Ang dami nating expenses. Kilalang-kilala mo si Judith at si Bill, di ba? So, paano ba natin i-organize yung expenses natin? Let's check. For this second part, we're having to plan to divide your income. There are a number of ways or proportions on how to divide your income. But this is what I will be suggesting. You can move it according to your needs as long as you can be committed. As long as you can be committed with your budget. This is just an example. 10% to give back, 15% for savings, 15% for investment, 60% disposable income. And I meant it on that order. 10% to give back. I am a believer of tithing or giving back to the church, 10% for tithe or offerings. 15% savings. Build up 3 to 6 months emergency fund, then investing 50%. And I meant it on that order because more often than not, what we do is we get our salary net, then we remove everything until we didn't realize that we've already used all of our money. But if we'll put giving back, savings, and investment on top, then it's already taken out of what we think we have. So based on a 20,000 entry level salary, excluding SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, you will have 17,700. You'll have 10% to give back, 15% to save, and 60, so forth. And there is 10,620 disposable income. On our next slide, we will see that I'm discussing here emergency fund. I had asterisk on the previous slide that emergency fund should be at least 3 to 6 months. So going back to our next slide, why is it important to have 3 to 6 months emergency fund? Let's say that you would want to resign on your present company. You will have to give 2 weeks notice, and that means 15 days of holding your salary. You will more likely look for another job for 1 month. So that's about 1 month and 15 days, no income with expenses. Next is that you will get, let's say you start on the first day of the following month, and then you get, that's already 2 months, diba? So 2 months, kung wala kang emergency fund, saan mo kukunin yung panggastos mo? Babalik ka ba sa mga magulang mo para humingi ulit ng panggastos? If you have your own emergency fund, you won't worry about where to get your expenditures or where to get the money that you will need to spend in order to sustain your daily life. Because you have prepared and you have your emergency fund. Let's now go to the breakdown of expenses. So you have 10,620, and this is what I think is average, but you can adjust it. So it looks like that this is a very tight budget. Wala ka pang clothing allowance dito, di ba? So medyo nakakapanlo mo. Anong gagawin mo? Maghanap ka ng other sources of income, and we will go there later. So after 1 year, you will see that for 1 year, you have earned a salary, yeah, for sure, 212,400. You've given back, naka-gray out na yung mga wala na, kalimutan mo na, pero naka-yellow yung mga natitira sa'yo because you have practiced budgeting, right? And I have made it in bold. And if you can remember, our emergency fund is equivalent to the 1 year of our savings, 3,100 31,860. So if we'll go back to the chart, you'll see there that for 1 year, you're able to save 31,860. You can invest 31,860. This investment, again, we'll talk about later. Some of it will be in the form of like tangible investment. Some of this will be in the form of investment on your siblings, investment on other things. So let's move on. Ways to track your budget. Though through phone or app, 2023 na, we know how to download it from the App Store or from Google Store. Through Excel, I personally have my budget for the next 3 years. Ganun po ako OCD sa pagbabudget. Alam ng nanay ko yon. And through writing it down, sulat mo kung di ka pa maka-adapt sa technology, di ba? And again, looking at it, 1 year, you have your budget. Ganito mo siya isusulat. Pwede mo pa rin siya i-detail. You wanna add more to the disposable income. But you can start from how it looks like in this presentation. So, you will notice I didn't put on the chart before your bonuses, your 13-month pay. Sa'yo na yon, di ba? Gamitin mo yon sa I deserve it mo. But it's up to you if you will still use the percentages that you have applied on your monthly wages. So, next slide we have here. I have here, it's not here, sorry, but I have the financial assessment. So, I will just be describing it to you. I asked for your goals. And I asked you to write down. So I need you to write down your goals in your Excel. You can just imagine it. Write down your goals and try to write down how much is required on your goals. How many years do you target it? How many months do you think you have to attain those goals? And based on that, you will have your required savings. Can we go on the next slide on the prior slide? Oh, it won't appear, sorry. Okay, thank you. Let's proceed on the ways on having additional sources of income. Sabi natin, hindi magkasya yung income natin. So, what are the ways? Have a second job. Hanap tayo ng sideline. Let's do business. Let's do investments. What are the types of investments that we can have? We'll discuss it. I'll give you characteristics. This is a basic financial literacy, so hindi ka magiging expert sa stock market after ng session na to. I would just like to describe what do you need to know basics in investments. Number 1, the higher the reward, the higher the risk. Different people have different appetite for risk. And if you have taken economics, you will know that you can be risk averse or you would want more risk. And always remember, kapag too good to be true, more likely scam. So research before you invest. It's always good that you know how and where your money is going through before you invest it. If somebody tells you, yung 10,000 mo gawin nating 20,000 bukas ng umaga, kapatid, please lang, don't invest on such things. Good things take time and effort. So you have to do your research before you invest. And always remember, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. And whatever you'll invest, you'll have to weigh your risk appetite. Next, what are your possible investments? You can invest on real properties. You can invest on land or pre-selling condominiums or pre-selling homes. So what are these? Pre-selling condominiums, they come as low as 5,000 pesos. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa nakakatayo yung condo. If fund mo yung development ng condo. But make sure when you invest on reputable corporations. Diba? Wag yung mga hindi natin kakilala. Next is Pag-ibig MP2 Fund. This is a fund offered in by Pag-ibig, a savings plan which earns higher, savings investment plan which earns a little bit higher of interest than what your money can earn on the bank. So it's something that you would want to consider. It's relatively lower in risk. Next are mutual funds. So these are private corporation offering you to invest for them to manage your investment. They will charge you a certain amount of investment management fee, about 3%, things like that. Next is variable universal life insurance, or VUL. This has two components, like something like a mutual fund wherein your money is taken to be invested on a portfolio of stocks. They also charge investment management fees, but the other portion is that you will be covered life insurance. So sometimes they cover the medical needs depending on what options you will be choosing. The medical needs I'm referring to are those that I mentioned earlier. Philippines is currently one of the markets that they are working on because we're generally not very big into insurance. There's I think last time it's about 3%. Only 3% of the Filipinos are educated or have life insurance. So they're offering these products. I'm sure you have one or two friends that posted something about them being financial advisors. You may want to talk to them if you're interested on this. So these are just possible investment. Next is the stock market or cryptocurrency. I'm not an expert in stock market, but I will be telling you that if you were to invest, again, do your research and consider investing on blue chips. Blue chips are those stocks that are utilities, those that are established, utility stocks, banking stocks, those that are needed on a daily basis, like Globe, things like that. I personally can't do day trading or swing trading. I can't bet on the movement of the market daily. I don't have time for that. So if I'm to invest, I will invest long term. And these are the corporations that are already established. More likely they pay dividends annually, if not every other year. Cryptocurrency, sikat na sikat, di ba? There's na hype ang ibang tao. So there's one point in time, Bitcoin is at $46,000 US, ang taas ng market. Then biglang napunta sa 20,000. Ngayon umaakit ng konti, 30,000. So before you invest your hard-earned money for the nth time, I am repeating, do your research and be sure that you can tolerate the risk. It is within your risk appetite. Next, the very controversial question. Malapit na tayong matapos. Is it okay to have debts? Okay lang ba umutang? The answer is yes. Of course, okay lang umutang. Even big corporations have debts. But the question is when? The answer is when you are using it to generate income that will cover the whole debt, including interest, and will generate your desired profit. Huwag kang uutang ng mas malaki pa yung interest kesa sa kikitain mo kasi mag-e-effort ka. Your effort are your resources that you could have otherwise used into other things that could generate better profit. Next is when you are investing on assets that appreciate and you can afford the periodic payments. What are assets that can appreciate? Land, real estate property, aside from land, valuable metals, technology, nag-appreciate ba? Magkano yung bili natin sa latest iPhone? I didn't buy one, but I think it's about more than 50,000 pesos this year. After 2 years, magkano na lang yan? 30,000, 40,000? Kung na-snatch yan sa Divisoria, magkano na lang yung value? Nasa na yung iPhone? Kaya mo bang mawala yan? Diba? Every 2 years na obsolete. I'm not discouraging you to buy the latest gadgets. if you need it, if you want it, if you can afford it. What I am saying is that if you will incur debt just for the sake of having it, it's not practical. It's not helping you. So again, let's invest on assets that appreciate, which can generate income so that at a certain point in time, we will have additional income and we can comfortably get what we want. On our last topic is the type of debts that you can have. Number one is credit card. So I would like to share with you the important dates of a credit card. Number one, there is the billing date. Credit card billing date. From the credit card billing date to the due date, that is interest-free. And from due date onwards, it will incur interest. So what are you going to do for you to take advantage of the points or whatever rewards your credit card can give you? You pay your monthly due amount on or before the due date. Never ever, as long as you can, treat your credit card as cash. Ang Tagalog ng credit card ay utang. Hindi yan debit card. Hindi mo yan kinita, umuutang ka, di ba? So don't treat it as cash, and as much as possible, pay your balance on or before due date. Other types of debt are loans offered by your company, loans offered by the government, SSS, Pag-ibig. If you have your own personal needs, you can go to SSS. If you want housing loan, you go to Pag-ibig. Loans offered by banks, slightly higher in interest. But if you don't have a choice, you want to have a house, kulang yung pwedeng i-loan sa'yo ng Pag-ibig, you'll go to banks. You want to finance a car, you go to other banks. Other financial institution, credit institution, higher interest than banks, not the best. And loans offered by private lenders, in Tagalog, yung mga nagpa 5-6. Do you know what 5-6 means? You borrow 5,000, you pay 6,000. How much is the interest? That's 20% and it's monthly. That's very usurious, isn't it? Legal ba yun? Sabi nga nila kasi, ang taong gipit, sa patalim kumakapit, and there are people, sadly, who take advantage of the needs of others. I hope that we will not get into those situations. We can use other means. We can employ the things that we have learned today. Budget properly so that you won't have to resort into borrowing and being taken advantage by these private lenders or these loan sharks. So that, I guess, is the end of our presentation. Again, I would like to remind you, eyes on the goal, your hashtag goals. I hope that you have learned something in this presentation today, and I would like to leave you with this saying: we are stewards over the resources that God blesses with. I hope that we are good stewards. Thank you, and again, good morning, everyone.
Wow, so thank you so much, Miss Jacqueline, for a wonderful and informative presentation. I am sure that our students learned a lot from you.
So at this juncture, we will go ahead and entertain some questions. So we encourage everyone to participate and type in your questions in the comment section. But while we're waiting, maybe let's look at the Facebook page, and while waiting for their responses, siguro I'd like to share lang, Miss Jacqueline, yung aking mga parang insights while you were sharing kanina. It's so relatable, especially dun sa nag-guilty ako doon. Feeling ko lahat sa akin, disposable income. Wala nang naitabi. So sabi ko nga, it's really smart, no, to really make sure para hindi mo na siya niisip na part siya nung perang matatanggap mo. Dapat naka-deduct na pala, naka-save na pala dapat talaga yung percentage for savings, for investment. Although I have not tried investment yet, but savings, no? And for someone na may binabayaran, because this is the first time, this is just a personal sharing, no? Kasi I'm not used to having utang talaga. Parang it's really more like, takot akong umutang kasi baka mamaya hindi ko mabayaran. So I really usually just spend within my means. pero not to the point din na nag-save masyado or nag-invest. So parang doon ako sa safe side palagi. And now that I have loaned a car, no, that's 5 years to pay. So ngayon parang sabi ko, parang makakatulog ba ako ng mahimbing knowing na may ganito akong amount na kailangan bayaran in 5 years? What if magkasakit ako? What if magkasakit yung parents ko? So, ang sa akin lang, it's really very, very smart and very, parang helpful yung mga sinabi mo kanina, especially yung emergency fund. Kasi talagang I think it's really very important, especially at my age. And for sure, there are also a lot of colleagues here who can relate na yung age namin, our parents namin are in their 60s, no, going 70s. So talagang we really need to be, especially ako, although my mom and dad naman, they prepared for their retirement, to be fair. Pero syempre as eldest, di ba, parang you would want to be there to help if ever na may need yung family. So I think for sure, a lot of my colleagues here can relate dun sa ganong experience. So thank you so much for sharing. So, merong si Cyril to. Cyril, merong question dito. So, I'll read it for you. So, hi, Miss Jackie. The first question I have po is about the truth behind how Filipinos spend their money. I've encountered some Filipino that shares that sometimes the reason why they spend a lot is due to some past circumstances that they had. Is it true that when a person had a deprived life in the past, it causes them to spend more when they have means to pay for it? How can they best control over this behavior?
Ayan. Thank you for your question. I agree. Tama, diba? There are times that, for example, when growing up, we were deprived of, for example, having nice clothes. So we tend to splurge on clothes. So, that's very true and it happens. Number one, paano natin, the question is, let me read again, how do we best control this behavior? I think number one is to be aware. Why are you splurging on clothes? Because you were deprived. Number one is acknowledging that there is a source of your behavior, understanding your behavior. And then, after that, pwede mo go back to your budgeting, diba? We have created the budget. If you will continue splurging on clothes, what will happen to the clothes that you are accumulating? Try to think about it. May ipon lang yan sa closet mo. Masusuot mo ba yan within 365 days? More often than not, fashion will go away after a season. Diba, nagpapalit. These are temporary things. Some things are, hindi ko siya fully ma-understand. Hindi ko siya pwedeng pangunahan sa mga gusto niyang gawin sa kanyang hard-earned money. But it's just something to consider if after you have identified the problem, try to understand what is going on and try to go back to your budget and try to see what will happen if you continue doing what you are doing. Another example is that if you were deprived on food before, di mo nakakain yung mga gusto mong kainin. So every week, every day lumalabas ka. After a period of time, hindi mo mamamalayan, naubos na, darating yung time na hindi na kasha again yung budget mo for you to have all this means. We have discussed earlier that we have limited resources and we cannot always splurge. We can spend for ourselves. Kanina sabi ko, wag mong pabayaan yung deserve mo to, diba? You have your bonuses, you have your 13-month pay, or you can include it in your budget. Ako personally, gusto ko yung nagta-travel. Meron akong travel fund every month and then iniipon ko yun systematically. Tapos kapag at a certain period, gusto ko pag birthday ko, lalabas ako. So, doon ko kukuhanin, di ba? So, those are the things that I can share for that.
Thank you so much, Miss Jackie. So another question. Miss Jackie, how can we best at least advocate for financial literacy awareness? I think this type of conversation isn't being talked about inside the school or unless you're already in senior high school or college?
How can we at least advocate? Is this coming from a teacher's perspective, a professor's perspective, or from a student's perspective? Student's perspective. I'd say
there are teachers, probably colleagues here who can hear your suggestions as well. So
I'd say for students, let's know our finances, personal finances. And if you have a classmate who do not have as much finances as you are, wag mo nang i-BI, and then wag mo i-bully kung hindi sasama, diba? Kung mamimiss na yung paglabas nyo once because wala siyang panggastos, wag mo i-bully, and then wag natin silang i-exclude. Wag natin i-feel na i-exclude natin sila kapag hindi sila sumama, diba? Wag natin sila i-peer pressure. I think that's responsible. Kung gusto mo siyang kasama, pag lalabas kayo, libre mo kung kaya mo, diba? Pero let's not choose our friends kung that way na kapag hindi sumama, di na friend. Eh kung walang panggastos, di ba? I'd say that's one of.
Hi, Miss Jack.
Hi.
Add ko lang, kasi before, nag-research po kasi kami before about consumer behavior. And ang tiningnan namin kasi doon is yung bakit na-attract yung mga buyers sa mga sale. So, tatanong ko lang if mas worth it ba na bumili sa mga sale na ganun, unlike dun sa mga original prices nila?
Oh, parang guilty yata ako dyan. Number 1, I would like you to know na yung sale 3 days yan, may time frame yan kasi it is designed for you to feel pressure that you have to buy it now because it's limited days. Mawawala. But then again, kung i-observe mo, after 1 year, babalik yung sale. Diba? Isa-sale ulit nila yung product. For example, clothing again. This season, isa-sale yung off-season. Kunwari, yung summer clothes is sale kapag pa December na. Next year, ganun ulit yung mangyayari. They are creating temporary urgency for you to feel that you need that product. But then again, evaluate. Do you really need that product? Next year, sure ba sila? Kasya pa sa'yo yung damit. Deviro lang. But what I'm saying is, go back to evaluating. Do you really need the product? If yes, then then you were able to take advantage of the sale. If hindi mo kailangan, hindi ka nakatipid na paggastos ka ng amount ng sale.
So thank you so much, Miss Jackie. So check po natin if may mga questions pa po ba.
Parang wala pa naman. Pero ako, I have questions siguro. Miss Jackie, what are your thoughts naman about di ba sa mga employees merong cooperative? So do you think anong thoughts mo about it? Will that be helpful as well?
Depende sa terms ng cooperative. I personally, nung nasa Pilipinas ako, I was part of a cooperative. That was it. Because there are certain benefits that are offered within the cooperative that you can take advantage of. So again, do our research, search for the benefits. Will that give you the best benefits given your limited resources? If yes, go on. If not, look for others.
All right. Thank you so much.
Another question po pala, Miss Jackie. Sorry, hindi ko na po yung chance. Is it worth it po ba mag-save sa loob sa bank? Parang more on patagalin lang yung savings mo sa loob ng bank? Or mas okay ba siya na easy lang personally sa mga kwarto, gano'n?
So, kung isa-save sa kwarto or isa-save sa bank. Number 1, kung magsa-save okay. Let's step back a bit. Our comparison is if we want to save a bank or keep it at home. I'd suggest save it on a bank because on a reputable bank, because if you're saving it at home, there's risk to theft, there's risk to things that we don't predict. What if there will be fire at home? We hope that won't happen, but your money will be gone. If your money is saved at a bank, it's protected by the Deposit Insurance or Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation up to a certain amount. So it is somewhat protected, more protected in the bank. But if you're accumulating a lot of money in the bank, that is also not wise. Even corporations, they only maintain a certain amount of money in the bank because you can divert it into other investments, which would give you more earnings or more opportunities to earn.
Thank you so much, Miss Jackie. So check po natin kung meron pa pong other questions.
So yeah, we encourage everyone to ask questions, even those who are here in the Google Meet, our fellow colleagues as well, if you have any questions. So this is the opportunity to ask Miss Jackie.
Baka meron po sa inyong nagpa-plan mag-save. Pwede nyo na pong tanong po kay Miss Jackie. Mag-loans, investments.
Parang so far, I think, ayan, meron yata.
Okay. Guys, Cyril.
Ako po, ma'am. May question lang po, Miss Jackie. Since kasi close to graduating na din po, and of course, after that, mag-start to job hunt and mag-work na po. Ano po kaya yung like best advice or what would you think would be the best step po as I start my financial journey po? Like yung pagsisave, ganun, what's the best advice po kaya?
I'd say, however, in whatever income you will be having, have the discipline in saving, like be committed in what you will be saving in your budget. Because when you start it on a portion, when you start it with your income as you're on an entry level, when you move to a higher salary, next position, mas madali mo nang magagawa because you already have built the discipline. So start it at the very beginning of your journey. Then when you progress, pwede mo, ang papayo ko naman is don't always upgrade your lifestyle as you upgrade your salary. So, yun. I personally practice marginal savings. So, kapag may added income, I try to save it.
Thank you po, ma'am.
So far, walang additional na questions akong nakikita. But if I may just add, Miss Jackie, kasi I remember you mentioned something about career progression earlier. And habang bata pa, so medyo nakarelate ako doon kasi at age, parang mid-20s or medyo pa late 30s na when I realized kung saan ko talaga gusto, no? So, it was just at that time when I took my master's. And mahirap. To be honest, it's really not easy. Kasi syempre, we're working full-time and at the same time, yung age din natin, medyo ako, personally, I'm sakitin. So, medyo mahirap siya. So, tama yun, no? Parang habang sinasabi mo yung kanina, yung sa slides, no? Para din siyang in a way related din for the students out here. In terms of their career development, it's also time for them to think about it. Related talaga siya. Kasi career-wise, di ba? So progression, yung career progression na yan should be part of what you are investing in, part of your goal. And kapag nag-aaral tayo, I mean, we may have some scholarships, yes, pero for sure may gastos pa rin na corresponding yan. But it's also a long-term investment. So I would have to agree with Miss Jackie that as early as now, the younger you are, the better. Kasi it's easier for you to do these things, no? If you want to take your master's, if you want to enroll in certificate programs, eventually, aside from the added knowledge and skills, syempre may counterpart yan for sure na promotion. And of course, may corresponding din na increase sa inyong salary eventually. So, I think that's also really good point na na-mention niyo yun kanina. So, thank you for that. So far, yes, Miss Jackie. So far, I think no. Let me just check for one last time if there are more additional comments here or questions. So far, it looks like we've covered all our questions. So, Miss Jackie, our beloved speaker, is there anything else that you want to add or cover?
No, thank you.
So again, Miss Jackie, thank you for that wonderful presentation. And at this moment, please make sure to answer our evaluation form and kindly scan the QR code for the Google link form.
Okay. So at this moment, I would like to present the certificate of appreciation to Ms. Jacqueline Silva, CPA, for being our resource speaker during the webinar entitled Financial Literacy Guide to Personal Finances, given this 24th day of April 2023, signed by the TLS committee members, including yours truly. So thank you so much, Miss Jackie. And then Cyril.
To give us our wrap-up for today, let's all have our dearest Dr. Nancy M. Felipe, Director of PWU Continuing Education.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Doc Nancy.
Good morning, everyone. So, actually, as I listened to Miss Jackie's presentation, it was some kind of a reflection on my part because at this age, I'm not the young age anymore. So it was something like, have I done this? Ginawa ko ba to? O gagawin ko pa ba? And so on. Okay, so it is said that being financially literate at a young age could give you or the individual tools and resources that they would need in their future to be financially secure in a later life. That would, if you are not that financially literate, there will be poor spending decisions. So I think for, if I may just add, okay, Miss Jackie started with goal setting. But when you have to set your goals, it should be SMART. SMART is an acronym: specific, manageable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This is where your financial literacy comes in because it has to have time. Will it be a short term or a long term? Okay? So you have to really set your goals and carefully plan. And as you walk along your goals, to your journey to your goals, you have to separate the wants and the needs. Okay? Just like what the example of Miss Jackie, is it really necessary to have a new or the high-end gadget? Okay, so of course, learning or through this session, I hope our students and all our listeners and over the FB Live and our colleagues had learned something, because I too learned something. Of course, as I've said, it's also a reflection on my part, personal reflection. If I have done this, if I not done that, will I still continue to work on my goals? Of course, at this age, I still have my goals. I still want to accomplish something. But of course, some goals need not be expensive. They just have to satisfy your life and be happy with what you are doing. So I just came across with this quote. It says that there is a secret psychology of money. Most people do not know about it, but that's why they are not financially successful. It says that a lack of money is not a problem. It is merely a symptom of what's going on inside of you. So I guess that would also uh, be equivalent to our goals. So I would just say to an advice probably that we have to set your limits or we live within your limits and save for the rainy day, as the old saying would say. So thank you, Miss Jackie, for that enlightenment on financial literacy, and thank you to Miss Meron and her staff, okay, Miss Marcel, Miss Sir Paulo, Miss Patricia, and Miss Cyril for inviting me over. Thank you, and I learned something. Thank you, Guidance Office.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc Felipe. Again, please make sure to answer our evaluation form and don't forget to encode our TLS code. SLDKJ3O and 8 for TLS points.
That's it for today. We appreciate you being here. We would like to thank everyone who made this seminar series possible. Thanks again for joining us today. For more GCTO and PWU peers updates, kindly like our official Facebook page.
And once again, I am Patricia Luis Manzanares, and together with my co-MCs, Cyril and Miss Cristina Gracia Meron, see you all next time. Join us with our PWU hymn, and God bless us all.